Salam sejahtera. Hello, everybody. Good evening over here in Malaysia. Good day to wherever you are in the world. Welcome to World Speech Day, Malaysia 2022. This is the seventh year that Malaysia is organizing World Speech Day. We started in 2016 and we have been organizing it every year without fail. And we hope to go on as long as we can. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever media you use to watch this World Speech Day in Malaysia, I hope you can stay on because we have interesting, very interesting speakers, in fact, to present their speeches tonight. For your information, just in case you are new and you have only heard of World Speech Day for the first time, World Speech Day is celebrated every year all over the world in more than 100 countries on the 15th of March. And this is the day where anybody can present their speeches, can share their views, their ideas. And we are talking about all the positive things. Yeah, don't get too sensitive with the word positive because I know it is rather sensitive, but the positive meaning remain the same. So be hopeful. As in Malaysia, we started in 2016 together with the rest of the country when World Speech Day first started. World Speech Day is founded by a very kind gentleman by the name of Simon Gibson. He is the founder of World Speech Day. And I was communicating with him a while ago. He sent his best regards to everybody who are watching either now or later on, because this event is currently live streamed through Facebook, and later on a copy of this recording will make available in YouTube. So do not worry if you were to miss it. You will be able to watch it again or again later on Facebook or YouTube. You can just search for it. Well, in 2016, until 2020, the event were organized. Of course, we have physical stage. Only last year and this year, we have no choice but have to go online with this virtual stage. But of course, with a virtual stage, we can have speakers from all over the country to join us. So wait till you see them later on, just a little while more. Ladies and gentlemen, why a World Speech Day? Because speeches are a wonderful tool for us to communicate, for us to convince, for us to persuade. Of course, it can do on the opposite as well, depending on how we do it. With speeches, we can actually call for action. We can even make somebody cry, or a lot of people cry at the same time, meaning to say we have touched their heart. What else can do such a thing without physical contact, but you can create that kind of emotion? This is a wonderful thing about speeches. That's why World Speech Day, or this is what World Speech Day is all about. And World Speech Day has a very special hashtag, which is unexpected voices, because we do not limit who can speak. Anybody can speak, and anybody can organize a World Speech Day in your country, in your state, in your town, or in your own organization, so that we can encourage people to speak. Okay? And this year, the theme for World Speech Day all over the world is a new harmony. Now, why a new harmony? We have going through a lot of difficulties and a lot of things have been happening starting from 2020, right? And even without that, the significant one, we still go through a lot of changes, a lot of challenges in life, which some are expected, but some are unexpected. Whether we like it or don't, we have to face this kind of changes and also challenges. And when changes happen, challenges happen, problems happen, difficulty that we are able to overcome, we gain something, we become somebody else. This is where we have to look for a new balance. It's just like water in a pond. When a stone drop into the pond, it creates ripples. And it will be there for some time. After some time, the water will stay calm again. Even if for flowing water, when the path is changed, it will flow again to another direction, either stronger or slower, depending on the difference of height. This is the what I call the balance, or what I call the new harmony. So it is similarly in life. When we face challenges and changes, we have to always come to a new balance, a new harmony. Of course, when changes happen, after all the challenges, we can no longer go back to our old comfort zone. We have to live with our new comfort, or the new norm, or the new normal. This is the new harmony that we are talking about. And for tonight, the speaker will see from different view, different angle, different idea to share with you how they achieve their new harmony. So there are altogether 11 speakers tonight waiting to present their speeches. So please stay on until the end. Every speaker is different. So listen and watch for yourself. Let's start with our first speaker. Hold on, I have to get things ready. Okay. Our first speaker is Dashwin Samuel Saravanan. Her mother said he is 10 years old, but he said he is only 9, but coming to 10 years old soon. So he can be 10 years old, or he can be 9 years old, depending on when you ask him again. He's a student, of course, and he has chosen the title Social Harmony with Nature. Social Harmony with Nature, please welcome Dashwin Samuel Saravanan. Dashwin, please turn on your video and audio. You may start now.
Hello everyone, my name is Dashwin. Today I will share a simple way of living in harmony with nature by creating a backyard habitat. A chemical-free garden detoxifies the air, removes pollutants, and brings better health to many types of animals and plants. The unseen underground activity of ants, worms, and microorganisms help keep the garden healthy. By avoiding the use of pesticides, these biological activities can be allowed to go on. Make roots of trees in your garden stronger and make chemical fertilizer unnecessary. The trees and birds in your gardens are ecological goal for many types of species, even the birds. Many species like squirrels, woodpeckers, and yellow orioles nest in them and feed on their insect tenants. If possible, we are advised not to cut down trees, but to chop them off, as they are home to many different kinds of species of animals. Next, we may add a bird bath filled with water. In addition, we may plant bushes that give the animals a variety of seeds and berries. Did you know that a single bat can catch up to 1,000 mosquitoes in an hour? Bats are very sensitive, so you will be lucky if one even showed up in yards by building bat houses. If one comes into your house, turn off all the lights and open the doors and windows. The animal should fly out towards the light. Next, we may plant many different kinds of herbal plants, flowering plants, vegetables, and many other species of plants. These attract bees and butterflies to help pollinate the flowering plants that help keep the cycle of life turning. The animals that you see in your home aren't trespassing, as humans like us invade many of their habitats just for our own needs, like for building factories, roads, houses, and many other stuff and buildings. I would like to end my speech with this quote. Everything in nature has a niche. It's perfect balance. Man needs to find his niche, his perfect balance, his place in the natural cycle. Thank you.
Thank you, Dashwin. I give you a clap. Okay, that is our first speaker, the youngest among all the speakers tonight. Now let's welcome the second speaker. Let me introduce the second speaker first. Okay, the second speaker is also a student. She is a secondary school student. Her name is Con Li Pei. She says she enjoys public speaking, crocheting, and debate. Her outlook on life is to always see big things ahead of her as she comes in at 150 cm. She's very humble to tell us she's 150. I hope you grow taller, Li Pei. Li Pei's speech title tonight is A World of Colors. A World of Colors, Con Li Pei.
I should play Hannah because I have blonde hair. But my name is Hannah. When I was younger, I lived in the UK. When I played make-believe games with my friends, the girls would argue over who should be Hannah from Hannah Montana. I kept quiet because nobody who looked like me was in Hannah Montana. But why must Hannah always be blonde? How do such stereotypes come about? The media is largely responsible for programming and perpetuating stereotypes in society. I'm Li Pei, and in my speech today, A World of Colors, I'll explore how monochrome the media is, the consequential effects of it, and how we can find a new harmony with each other. We live in a multicolored world. Yet the media around us is so often monochrome. Many racial minorities often get little or no representation at all. When we turn on Netflix these days, we often see only one color portrayed. Or when we see minorities, they're often just the obligatory person of color side character. And we call this inclusion. In 2017, Dr. Stacy Smith from the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative found that out of the top 1,200 films, only 29.3% out of the 53,178 main characters were of color. Besides representation in the media, many racial minorities have been portrayed negatively. For instance, the KCRJ, an American TV station, ran 2 stories on the same day about 2 groups who committed the same crime. For the white suspects, they used their graduation photos. But for the Black suspects, their mugshots were used. What do you think when you see these pictures? These subtle influences create negative perceptions, which turn into prejudice. Here's another example. The Stanford Open Policing Project found that in 100 million traffic stops across the United States, Black drivers were 20% more likely to be stopped than white drivers and are searched 1 to 2 times more. Although Black drivers are less likely to be carrying drugs or guns. But why does this happen? The implicit biases and stereotypes the media has built into us seep into how we view others. We live in a multicolored world. So why is monochrome media so harmful? Media often aims to elicit emotional reactions out of us rather than rational logic. The media's racial representation and projection affect the way people think and feel and how they treat others. Nancy Wang Yuan, an American sociologist, pointed out when there is a lack of contact between racial groups, people tend to rely on media stereotypes to formulate ideas about people outside their own race. We live in a multicolored world with a monochrome filter. How then do we live in harmony? We must dismantle, embrace, and change. To live in a new harmony, we must first dismantle our preconceived prejudices. We are all subjects of ingrained stereotypes. Once, while I was at a petrol station with my grandma, 2 Black men on a motorcycle pulled up close to us. My grandma immediately whispered to me, "Hold your bag tightly." To live in a new harmony, we must learn to embrace our differences. It's time to make an effort to engage in conversations with people who have a different culture or religion. Let's appreciate and celebrate our diversity. To live in a new harmony, change comes from within. We have to consciously change. Whenever a stereotype pops into your head, ask why you believe this. Dismantle, embrace, and change. We live in a multicolored world, but monochrome media has largely infected our society with stereotypes. And this causes harmful effects. To have harmony in a world of colors, we must dismantle our stereotypes and prejudices, embrace our differences, and change. As Barack Obama said, we are the change that we seek. Let's push aside our monochrome filter and step into a world of colors. Thank you.
Thank you, Lipe. Very interesting speech. You may turn off your audio and also video. Now, while you're still listening, Lipe, probably the next time if you deliver the same speech, you might like to put some some ribbons on your hair. So every time you see, we live in a multicolors world. And then all the colors of your hair or the ribbons will come out showing. That will give you a better effect. That doesn't mean that I say your speech is not good, but then it's just a suggestion. Probably you want to try the next time, just to give up more impact. Thank you for sharing, Lipe. Well, ladies and gentlemen, world speech in Malaysia is always multicolors, like what Lipe has said. That's why we are presenting our speeches not only in English, but also in Malay, or what we call Bahasa Malaysia over here, and also in Mandarin. Our next speaker will speak or deliver her speech in Bahasa Malaysia. So I will introduce her using Bahasa Malaysia. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, selamat datang ke Hari Ucapan Sedunia. Nanti saya pastikan saya tunjukkan yang betul. Okey. Selamat datang ke Hari Ucapan Sedunia. Pada tahun ini, Hari Ucapan Sedunia disampaikan dalam 3 bahasa, bahasa Inggeris, bahasa Malaysia dan juga Mandarin. Dan peserta kita yang seterusnya akan menyampaikan ucapan beliau dalam bahasa Malaysia. Namanya ialah Dr. Nur Izzati. Dia tidak segan-segan untuk memberitahu bahawa dia kini berumur 56 tahun dan seorang guru selama 31 tahun. Dia telah berkahwin dan mempunyai seorang suami yang cukup memberikan sokongan terhadap apa sahaja yang dia buat, termasuk juga menyampaikan ucapan dalam Hari Ucapan Sedunia, dan mereka mempunyai 2 orang anak. Dia suka membaca dan juga mengembara. Dia baru saja memperolehi PhD beliau. Dan ucapan beliau pada malam ini ada kaitan dengan PhD-nya. Tajuk ucapan Dr. Nur Izzati ialah cabaran seorang pelajar PhD. Cabaran seorang pelajar PhD, dipersilakan Dr. Nur Izzati binti Abdullah.
Baik. Terima kasih Mr. Lee selaku pengurusi majlis kita pada malam ini. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera diucapkan kepada semua penonton. Perjalanan pengajian PhD setiap orang adalah tidak sama. Justru pada malam ini saya akan berkongsi cabaran yang dihadapi oleh saya sebagai pelajar PhD. Saya mendaftar sebagai pelajar PhD sewaktu berusia 50 tahun dan sekadar untuk mencari pengalaman kerana orang kata PhD itu susah. Saya pernah terfikir adalah mustahil untuk menamatkan pengajian kerana perjalanan kedoktoran saya tidak lancar dan penuh dengan pergolakan. Jelas sekali, saya bukan calon GOT ataupun graduate on time. Baiklah, antara masalah atau cabaran yang saya hadapi ialah perasaan keterasingan ataupun isolation. Pada peringkat awal, saya tidak mempunyai maklumat atau gambaran sebenar tentang PhD. Saya mengambil PhD atas dorongan bekas pensyarah saya semasa membuat master. Namun, beliau tidak dapat menjadi supervisor atau SW untuk PhD saya kerana tajuk kajian saya bukan bidang kepakaran beliau. Di situlah bermulanya cabaran pengajian saya. Saya terpaksa belajar dari A to Z semuanya sendiri. Saya tidak diajar cara yang betul untuk menulis sehinggalah saya blur selama beberapa tahun. Hal ini kerana dalam PhD kita tidak ada sesiapa. Dalam PhD hanya kita yang faham kajian kita. Jadi bila kita ingin bertanya kepada orang lain, tidak ada sesiapa yang memahaminya. Selain itu, PhD mementingkan kebaharuan atau novelty. Maksudnya, kajian kita itu hendaklah sesuatu yang baharu dan tidak ada persamaan dengan kajian orang lain. Hal ini secara tidak langsung akan menyebabkan kita rasa terasing dan lonely. Ya, jadi cara untuk mengatasinya ialah kita hendaklah rajin membaca dan mencari maklumat, menyertai Facebook, doctorate support group dan menjalin hubungan yang baik dengan supervisor kita. Baik. Masalah yang kedua atau cabaran yang kedua yang dihadapi oleh pelajar PhD ialah pemilihan supervisor atau SV yang sesuai. Cabaran ini sebenarnya agak mengganggu pengajian saya kerana setelah SV pertama menarik diri, saya diberikan SV yang lain. Sepanjang pengajian saya selama 7 tahun, saya telah bertukar 5 orang supervisor kerana masalah seperti supervisor sakit, supervisor melanjutkan pengajian ke luar negara, SV meninggal dunia, SV tidak memberikan bimbingan langsung. Saya juga pernah menangguhkan pengajian kerana masalah kesihatan. Kesemua hal ini merugikan masa kerana SV perlu memeriksa progres penulisan tesis pelajar dan membuat pelaporan. Akibatnya, saya hanya dapat membentangkan tajuk kajian saya semasa berada di tahun ke-5 pengajian. Jadi untuk menyelesaikan masalah ini, pastikan kita memilih SV yang berpengalaman dan mahir dalam penulisan artikel jurnal kerana penerbitan artikel jurnal merupakan syarat pengijazahan. Contohnya opsi, memerlukan sekurang-kurangnya minimum 2 penerbitan jurnal sebelum dapat bergraduat. Ya. Okey. Baik. Perkara ketiga yang saya hadapi ataupun cabaran ketiga saya hadapi ialah sebagai pelajar separuh masa. Cabaran terbesar ialah pengurusan masa. Ini kerana saya mempunyai tugas hakiki sebagai seorang guru. Dalam masa yang sama, saya juga mempunyai keluarga yang memerlukan perhatian saya. Ramai orang beranggapan bahawa atau salah sangka bahawa pelajar PhD dapat membuat kerja-kerja PhD sama ada di sekolah ataupun di tempat kerja. Sedangkan realitinya, kami membaca jurnal, mencari maklumat di internet, menulis literature review semasa orang lain sedang tidur. Dan pada waktu dan mereka bercuti ke sana sini pada hujung minggu. Dan sedangkan kami tidak dapat ke mana-mana kerana kami hanya ada masa pada hujung minggu untuk menulis dan juga mencari maklumat. Dan bukan setiap kali bila kita menulis itu, kita ada idea. Kadang-kadang yang delete itu lebih banyak daripada yang di-type. Bukan sepanjang masa idea atau ilham itu muncul. Jadi sebagai solusinya, kita hendaklah menguruskan masa dengan baik. Baik. Cabaran yang keempat ialah pemilihan tajuk yang sesuai atau mempunyai novelty, kebaharuan. Memilih tajuk yang sesuai sangat penting ya. Saya percaya ramai pelajar PhD yang pernah menukar tajuk berkali-kali. Begitu juga dengan saya. Hal ini kerana sama ada atas kehendak SV ataupun tajuk kajian kita tidak ada kebaharuan, eksperimen gagal dan sebagainya. Menukar tajuk setelah belajar beberapa tahun akan menyebabkan calon mengalami stres dan kemungkinan kemurungan. Saya sendiri pernah menangis ya sepanjang jalan sambil memandu balik daripada universiti kerana SV kata kajian awak tidak sampai tahap PhD dan dia suruh tukar tajuk lain. Malah saya hampir kemurungan dan berputus asa. Oleh itu, mental dan fizikal perlu kuat dan kena banyak berdoa kepada Tuhan agar dipermudahkan urusan pengajian. Baik. Cabaran yang terakhir, saya nak berkongsi cabaran terakhir ialah tentang sumber kewangan. Bagi pelajar part-time, ya, pelajar separuh masa, kita perlu mempunyai sumber kewangan yang baik. Hal ini kerana selain pada kos pengajian, kita juga kena bayar kos penginapan hotel ya, sekiranya perlu menginap di hotel semasa berurusan di universiti. Atau minyak kereta, tol, fotostat bahan, kos upah translate bahan dan abstrak. Contohnya, kos upah translate abstrak daripada bahasa Melayu ke bahasa Inggeris untuk satu muka surat, saya dikenakan bayaran RM142 untuk sehelai abstrak. Sangat mahal kan? Ya. Jadi kita perlu mempunyai kewangan yang stabil lah. Selain itu, kos fotostat bahan pun sangat tinggi. terutamanya apabila kita paksa menukar tajuk dan bermula semula untuk menulis balik literature review, kita kena print, kita kena tengok balik, kita kena buat semula. Jadi secara keseluruhannya saya dapat ringkaskan bahawa sepanjang pengajian saya selama 7 tahun ini, saya rasa saya telah membelanjakan lebih daripada 20,000 ringgit. Ya, jadi sekiranya ada calon yang hendak sambung belajar dan membuat secara part time, pastikan anda mempunyai sumber kewangan ya yang mencukupi. Kerana kita tidak ada bantuan atau kewangan yang lain. Baik, jadi baiklah. Saya harap kisah saya ini akan memberi inspirasi kepada orang lain untuk menamatkan pengajian mereka dan berusaha untuk berjaya. If I can do it, so do you. Kata kuncinya ialah ketabahan, ketekunan, dan daya tahan. Sekian, terima kasih.
Terima kasih Dr. Nur Izzati. Saya rasa anda juga perlu menyesuaikan diri dengan harmoni yang baru, ialah dipanggil doktor. Dan tahniah kerana pencapaian anda.
Baik,
dan anda boleh tutup audio dan juga video. Kita akan panggil peserta yang seterusnya. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Nur Izzati, who shared her experience on how she went through her PhD for 7 years, almost gave up along the way, but this is a lifelong learning, so she never gave up, and she's facing a new harmony by being called doctor now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker will be Ken T. Ken will speak in Mandarin. So he is the only speaker who will speak in Mandarin. So I will introduce him in Mandarin. 大家晚上好，欢迎来到世界演讲会，马来西亚的世界演讲会。今年是我们第7年主办世界演讲会。我们下一位演讲者叫邓整坤，你看他年纪轻轻，可是他已经投身于房产管理及投资超过15年。我是认识他的，他已经服务超过1万个住户，然后他一心都想应用和分享他自己的经验和知识来给大家知道。所以今天晚上如果你对这一方面有兴趣的话，你可能真的要关注他。他希望能够协助他身边有需要的人。他的今天晚上的演讲题目是科技颠覆房产促就业。科技颠覆房产促就业。有请邓整坤。
谢谢 Mr. Lee， 大家晚上好，我是 Ken， 我拥有15年的房产投资及管理经验，最高峰我们可以管理超过2000的租客。我本身服务过超过1万的长期租客。买好的房产不简单，但是出租及管理房产更不简单。许多房东经常需要面对不同的人看房询问，还要为租客解决不同的问题。这些过程不在于是纯粹的买房投资，而是实实在在的长期服务。除此之外，繁杂复杂事务、水电付款及计算、签约及合约盖章、付款记录、租客记录，这些会造成房东忙得不可开交。以目前的市场，每一个房东及二房东各自为营，没有共享资讯及资源，大家只能盲人摸象及长期抛价钱来争夺租客。但是大家忘记了一切的品质来自于预算。如果没有了预算及利润，大家该如何维持品质及提升自身的竞争力？一切归于基本。租客想要舒适及方便的居住环境，房东想要回酬率， Supply Operator 或管理公司想要有利润。那我们该如何满足大家以上的需求？大家可以想象，如果有一天租客可以在网上观看房间照片， 而且还是360度的全景照片。租客也可以在房东的同意下，不再需要与房东迁就时间或陪伴下，随时线下看房。如果这个租客他对房间满意，他们可以透过手机 APP 订房及立刻搬入和注册他们的登录指纹，不需要再等待房东为他们生成那些提供钥匙以及门卡。租赁合约及任何付款也可以在手机 APP 上签约及缴付，每一个月的账单如水电及租金也可以自动生成，租客只需在手机 APP 查询及付款即可。他们付款过后，程序会自动生成收据，同时也可以保留长达几年的记录。对于房东，他们不需要每一个月催租金、记录水电费，收到付款后开收据。除此之外，每一个月我们的程序也会生成报告，如损益表、未付账单等等，让房东可以对自己的房产投资状况一目了然。因此，我们创造了 EGN 智能房产管理程序。EGN 综合了我们的经验及顾客的反馈，我们把所有的出租房及管理的程序数码化及自动化，提高了居住环境的价值及竞争力，省略了重复性的繁杂复杂琐碎的事务，让大家可以省下更多时间、金钱及精力。使用EGN可以让你轻轻松松成为包租公或包租婆，同时你可以共享资源，如信用有问题的租客。我们提供手机 APP、电脑版程序，配对智能设备如电子门锁、智能电表等等，让大家可以实际远程管理及操控你的房产。对于租客，手机上的功能如未付账单、收据、开门记录、用电记录，这些透明公平的功效可以让他们更安心的居住。在这里，我们希望各位房东及房产管理员加入我们，让我们共同扶持，共同创造一个效及透明公平的租赁生态圈。大家可以在 Apple App Store、Android Play Store、华为 Play Store 下载 EGN 的程序及浏览我们的官方网站 www.egn.com。谢谢大家。
谢谢 Ken. Thank you, Ken. That was Ken presenting her speech in Mandarin. Ken, you may turn off your video and also audio now. This young man, he looks very young. In fact, he is in the business of renting property. He also came out with an application which make renting out property even easier. That was about his speech in meeting the new harmony in the new challenging world of property. Ladies and gentlemen, so we come to our next speaker. Our next speaker is a very interesting person, Lovie Gilbert. She is a stay-at-home mom since 2010. Probably, I think you all feel that she is very lucky. She says she is 44. Of course, another one, not embarrassed to share her age. And you will have more secrets to learn from her later on. She is 44. She has 3 children, aged 16, 8, and also 5. She is a mass comm graduate and former banker. Besides yoga and painting, she also watches true crime documentary and anime to de-stress. When you learn about it, why she said, or she stressed the word de-stress. Louis' topic tonight is intermittent fasting changed my life. Intermittent fasting changed my life. Lovie Gilbert.
Hi there. Thank you for having me. I'm Lavi, and today I'll be sharing about intermittent fasting and how it changed my life. Now, by now, I'm sure some of you might have heard about intermittent fasting or IF in short. Now, intermittent fasting was made popular by a guy named Martin Berkhan. He is a nutritional consultant, a writer, and also a personal trainer. Now, prior to this life-changing experience with intermittent fasting, I was going through a lot of emotional roller coaster after one of my younger brothers was murdered. He was 19 at that time. Now, to cope with the grief, I turned into food. I was using emotional eating just to comfort myself. Now, before long, I gained so much weight that some of my friends and family can't even recognize me. And at that point, right, some doctors have advised me to lose that extra weight due to my family medical background. Well, I can tell you, I tried so many things, from slimming centers to meal replacement, just to name a few. Now, we all know that losing weight is never easy, more so at maintaining that healthy weight, right? Now, this is when I discovered upon intermittent fasting in 2018. Now, what is intermittent fasting? Well, it's a period of fasting and then followed by a period of eating. The main objective is to lower down our insulin levels. And when this happens, it can help with fat burning. So how do you do intermittent fasting? Well, there are many ways of doing it. But one of the most popular one is the 16-8 method, since it's the easiest way to apply into our daily life. So for example, we stop eating at 8 p.m. tonight and not eat until 12 p.m. the next day. So besides losing weight as one of the benefits, there are many more benefits by doing intermittent fasting. For me personally, intermittent fasting have changed my relationship with food and my life for the better. Now, before this, I love sugar drink, sodas, Coca-Cola, you name it. It's my weakness. Now, I just see them as just sugar water. And I used to munch a lot too, especially when I'm watching TV, going to the movies, or whenever I feel bored. But now, I'm more in control of what I eat and when I eat. But of course, I don't deprive myself with good food. You know, sometimes I do have ice creams and desserts, but always on sharing basis. Intermittent fasting changed my life for the better when I also noticed that my body can digest food better and I can sleep better too. I'm more confident in my body now, and this automatically motivates me to keep up with my exercise routine. As of today, I've been doing intermittent fasting for almost 4 years now. At one point, I managed to lose 15 kg in a year. And currently, I'm in my happy place. I'm not planning to lose any more weight, but I'm still doing intermittent fasting for its benefit. Now, the hassle of daily life can sometimes trigger negative emotions. Some of us may turn to food for comfort, like I did. Unfortunately, emotional eating doesn't fix emotional problems. In fact, it tends to make it worse. So instead of using food as a remedy, I would recommend intermittent fasting to anyone who's going through negative emotions as a way of detoxing, or to those who simply want to get healthy. And if you're wondering how I look like prior to intermittent fasting, here's a surprise, my before picture. Thank you.
Thank you, Lovey. I think everyone have a good look at your before picture. I hope you never get back to that before picture with your determination and your continuously practicing intermittent fasting. Coincidentally, I'm also practicing intermittent fasting. I don't do it every day. Whenever I remember, I do it. But it is a healthy way of eating. Actually, we do not need to eat so much because we used to think that, or at least I used to think that we need to eat more so that we can have more energy, especially we have a long day to go. That was what I thought, so I ate a lot. But ever since I practice intermittent study, I changed my diet and everything. It seems that I have achieved some kind of a new harmony, a new balance. We actually do not need so much food to support us. Those are really the extra. That's why it went to our weight, it went to the fat, it went to the sugar and everything, which we find it hard to get rid of. Thank you for sharing, Lovey. So let's go to our next speaker. Our next speaker, okay, right. Our next speaker is Sangeeta. Sangeeta is a lecturer and she said she is a simple lady and who wishes to explore the world and find the purpose of her existence. Very simple. She doesn't want to tell a lot, so she gives something very philosophical. But anyway, let's listen to her. Sangeeta's speech title tonight is, "It is not others, it is me. It is not others, it is me." Sangeeta Animolom.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. And we can see you clearly. Go ahead.
Okay. First scene, when I was a kid. Stop! My mom shouted. Let the cat cross the path first. Why, mommy? I asked curiously. She replied, if a cat crosses our path, then it will bring bad luck to us. Our beautiful evening walk to a sundry shop was delayed by a poor cat. Scene number 2, 10 years later. Stop! Don't start the car. Why, Mom? I asked. A cat just crossed outside the gate. Wait for a few more minutes. I said, okay. Scene number 3. Add another 10 years from the second scene. One day, my mom was in a hurry to go to a shop. She wanted to be there before the owner closed the shop. Speed up, can't you drive faster? She said in an angry tone. I continued driving. Then I slowed down and parked the car at the roadside. Why did you stop? She asked. Well, a cat just crossed the road. And guess what? This is what she replied. Don't be silly, just drive. But Mom, you say now is not the time to discuss about cats. Just drive. Huh? Did I look like a fool to her? Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. I'm sure some of you would have faced the same scenario in your lives. For me, The cat is just an example of many other superstitious beliefs that was instilled in me, and it brought some kind of fear in me since I was a kid. Fear of the unknown, circumstances. Life started with, sometimes I can recall it as illogical beliefs that ruined my thoughts. Was it my mom's fault, or was it just mine? Every child will grow up as teenagers, and so did I. I imagined my teenage life will be a bed of roses. Well, it was, and it wasn't. Now, when I was a kid, there was only my mom. But when I grew up, there were add-ons, relatives and family friends, you just name it. Don't talk to guys. You'll ruin our family name. Don't socialize too much and bring shame to our society. You must do this. You must be like this. You are this. You are that. Being a teenager, of course, sometimes we tend to be rebellious. So I did try to talk to boys and socialize with people with some kind of guilt feeling. Am I doing the right thing? What if, someone finds out I'm talking to a guy or socializing with these people? No, I grow up with a guilt. Ladies and gentlemen, now I have added extra baggage onto myself. From having a fear of the unknown, now I have guilt on what should I do? Was this their fault or mine? As an adult now, this is a different scenario. From families to relatives and family friends, now I have colleagues and bosses. I learned a lot from these people. In fact, I learned more than when I was a kid and teenager. Of course, working life is a different life. Everybody knows that. A lot of positive traits. I wouldn't say everything is bad. There were so many good things, but there were these negative ones. Backstabbing, gossiping, bad-mouthing, sarcasm, you just name it. Then, what happened to this Sangeeta? I started being suspicious literally on everyone. Does this person have any hidden agenda? Why is she so sweet to me? Is it really what she meant? What is he really up to? Can I open my mouth and talk to her? Or will she leak the secrets? A lot of things. I started being suspicious. Ladies and gentlemen, I can read your mind voice from fear of the unknown and to guilty feeling and now being suspicious. How on earth can she be still alive and living in this society? Is she being real? Well, to answer your question, I looked very bold and brave outside, but very much lost inside. Sometimes it did show on my face. Are you okay? Are you okay? Well, of course I'm not okay because it's in me. The negative things are in me. I've cultivated this since I was young. Ladies and gentlemen, after years of experiencing the good and the bad, of course, the fear, the guilt, and being suspicious, I finally realized that this has to stop. It's never too late to start over. Well, of course, it's easy to say, but it's not easy when it comes to practice. I finally realized that it wasn't really my mom's mistake. She only spoke of what she knew at that time. As time passed by, I should have learned to differentiate the good and the bad. It was just a cat after all. It wasn't anybody's mistake. It was solely mine. I refused to draw the boundaries on others' opinions. I neglected my instinct and I underestimated my own willpower and strength. I was not willing to remove all those negative thoughts that I have cultivated since I was young. I finally realized it was not others. It is me. I am responsible for my own thoughts and actions. I face the consequences of trusting and believing in others for the wrong reasons. And I forgot to believe in myself. Ladies and gentlemen, if any of you have the same experience as mine, please wake up and come to the reality. before it's too late. Our lives are in our hands. We need to make adjustments and move on with our lives without having the fear of the unknown, having guilty feeling for the wrong reasons, and being suspicious of everyone and everything. Who we are today is not because of what others say or what others believe in. It is because of us, our own actions and our own thoughts. I have finally realized it is not others, it's me. Over to you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Sangita. Before you turn off your video and audio, I have a question for you. Do you have a cat at home?
No, I don't.
Will you ever have a cat at home?
No, I don't. I know I won't. But I love cats and I don't just simply stop. I say hello, bye. Then I just walk.
Okay, thank you so much, Sangita.
Thank you,
You
sir.
may turn off,
Thank you.
yes, you may turn off your video and audio now. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was an interesting speech. Very much in our society, a lot of us believe this and that. And I think Sangita has brought up a speech that make us wake up, that we have to come to a new harmony. That is to forget our fear, to really see, so what is it really about? There are a lot of things our parents, grandparents told us, or even somebody else, or sometimes parents and grandparents, they don't tell us, but we watch too much movies, even on TikTok, and we tend to believe. And suddenly this younger or newer generation become even more superstitious because they believe in what they watch in YouTube, they watch in TikTok, and so on. I think if you have problem with that, then get them to listen to Sangita's speech. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ruth Yap. Ruth is a very interesting character. She is a zero waste advocate. Zero waste, you hear me correctly. Zero waste advocate and the author of the book Gaya Hidup Sisa Sifa. In English, it is Zero Waste Lifestyle, which is what she's going to talk about tonight. Right, Ruth has been involved in marine and environmental conservation and education throughout Malaysia since 2008. She founded the Zero Waste movement in Sabah 3 years ago. And she is about to share her experience with all of us. Her speech title is A New Harmony, the Zero Waste Lifestyle. The Zero Waste Lifestyle, Ruth Yap.
Good evening. Can I have my first slide, please?
Okay, let me show the slide again. By the way, you can just wave at your audience first.
Hello.
Okay, let me share that slide. Here you are. If you are
Thank
ready,
you.
let me know. Okay.
Okay. So have a look at this photo, everyone. And let us ask ourselves this question. Are we in harmony with nature? Okay, that photo that you saw just now was taken at the beach in my city. It was taken on the day when I brought my family, my children out to the beach. Okay, I love the beach. Now, this beach is so dirty, and I believe it is the same almost everywhere now. And Many beach cleanups have been held on this beach, but the trash keeps on reappearing. So our local council did a research. Okay, they did a research and they dug 10 feet deep into the beach. And guess what they found? Plastics. Okay, 10 feet deep and there were plastics. Now, how did this happen? Okay, plastic was first mass produced in the early 1950s, and 70 years since then, the production has multiplied by 5-fold. Okay, and with that, we are now in a global problem, which is plastic pollution and also the recycling crisis. Okay, now plastic actually brought a lot of benefit to people, especially in the medical industry, okay, because it is very cheap to produce and also lightweight to transport. But because of this same quality, coupled with its durability, it has also caused a lot of problems that we can no longer ignore in our environment. Okay, so many of us actually, we don't realize how much waste we generate every day because we throw our waste into the rubbish bin, and the next day, a dump truck will come and collect our waste, okay, and they will send it to the landfill. But what happens to our trash in the landfill? Do they disappear? No, because plastic can last almost 600 years, up to 600 years in the environment. And what is going to happen to all this trash after the landfill is full? Do we look for another landfill? Is that a sustainable solution? Do you know in Malaysia, there are actually 300 landfills? And out of that 300, half of them has reached full capacity. Okay, the remaining half will be reaching its full capacity in the next few years. And out of 300, only 14 are sanitary landfills, which means there is recovering effort and segregation effort to recover and recycle some of the waste. Okay, now many people say, okay, if landfill is not solving the problem, then what about incinerators? What about we burn our rubbish? Is that a sustainable solution? Okay, when we burn our waste, okay, there will be toxic gas release. Okay, in an incinerator is actually very costly to operate. Not only that, when we burn it, it also releases carcinogens into the air that we breathe. And more importantly, landfills and incinerators do not push us to change our behavior. Okay, nor do they push us to be part of the solution to this problem. So, yes, this problem actually requires a lot of effort and involvement from different parties to solve. Okay, for example, policies need to be drawn, yeah, and even laws needs to be enforced. But how many of us here are law enforcers, and how many of us here are involved in drawing policies? So what can you and I do? What can you and I do? Now, in the past, our effort to clean up the beach is actually described by this metaphor. You know, we have been solving our waste problem by cleaning up at the end. Okay, we have not been stopping waste at the source. Okay, the metaphor given is this: if our kitchen sink is overflowing with water, what is the first thing that we should do? Okay, beach cleanups and all this are just secondary. You know, we are just cleaning up the water, mopping up the floor, and scooping up the water into a different pail with a teaspoon, right? But when the first thing, logic thing that we should do is actually to turn off the tap. So I'm proposing the zero waste lifestyle, okay, the 5R to be something that you and I can start doing today to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. And the 5 R's of the zero waste lifestyle is refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. Now, what can we refuse? A lot of our waste that we generate can actually be refused from the beginning. For example, disposable plastics, single-use plastic, takeaway containers. So if we can, try to refuse this as much as possible. And the second R is reduce. For whatever that we cannot refuse, we can try to reduce it by replacing our product with more environment-friendly products with minimal packaging. Okay, and the third R is reuse. We need to shift our culture towards a reusable culture. Always bring a zero waste kit with you, and the zero waste kit can contain things like your containers, your water bottles, fork and spoons, and handkerchiefs. All this can help us to cut down waste. Okay, and the fourth R is recycle. Please learn about recycling the correct way. I know for the past 20 years, we have heard about recycling, but do you know that up to today, how many of us here are recycling? Okay, the answer is not many, and not many of us even know how to recycle correctly. What does the logo under the bottle mean? You know, the triangle. Do you know how many types of plastic there are? All this knowledge we can learn can actually help us to recycle more effectively. And the last but not least, the fifth R is actually rot, which means composting. We need to learn how to compost and return the organic waste into our soil, because organic waste that is tend to degrade in the landfill under low oxygen conditions actually release methane gas, and they can release for a period of over 30 years. And we now know that methane gas is actually a greenhouse gas, and they contribute to climate change. Okay, instead, when we do composting, we can actually mitigate this problem, and also we are returning the nutrients back into our soil. And composting actually is the missing link between food production and food consumption. So I hope that, you know, with these 5 R's, you will give it a go, because I have successfully managed to I only need to take out my trash once a month after I apply the 5 R principles of the zero waste lifestyle. So let us strive towards this new harmony and really think about our consumption habits to be a more responsible consumer, and try to harmonize even our consumption habits with the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth, for sharing. I hope the what Ruth have shared could be a new harmony for us if you really want the earth to be harmony that we can live, or at least our future generation can live on harmoniously. There's something we really need to do. That is also a new harmony. Thank you once again, Ruth. I think if any of the politicians hear you, maybe they want to award you with a Datuk ship, Ruth. If you really get that, make sure you thank me for suggesting that. Thank you once again. Okay. Okay, Ruth. Thank you. Right, let's go for our next speaker. Now, you might be wondering why I take a little time to get things done. That is because I'm the only one who handle all this. There is no a team of organizer and so on. So I have my hands full, but I'm not complaining, just to let you know, just in case you are wondering, oh, why I have to wait for this and that. Then as if I'm creating some kind of hiccup along the way. It is not. But of course, this is the new harmony that we are doing, correct? And you see, in the history of World Speech Day Malaysia, when we had our physical event, we had the hall, we have comfortable sitting, we have crowd cheering and all this. And then of course the hall needs some renter, and I was lucky enough to get somebody to sponsor for a few years. I get a good friend of mine who was also the Deputy Minister of Education, Dr. Mary Yap, to help contribute to that, so we can use the hall. And then later on, we also get some sponsors to help with the event. Of course, when it went online since last year, it will be, I don't think it's right to ask for sponsorship. And then I never wanted to burden anybody as much as I can. That's why there is no printed material and so on, so that we can minimize the cost of organizing this event. The only cost involved is actually subscription to this Zoom. Now, of course, the audience out there, you're watching through Facebook Live, but actually it came from the Zoom that I am hosting. That is the only thing which I do not mind to contribute. That's why I'm the one handling here and there. I hope you can bear with us. Take it as a new harmony. I hope I'm not abusing this theme of World Speech Day of a new harmony. Let's invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Ang Eugene. Eugene is an engineer, a subcontract specialist who is also an endurance sports enthusiast. He enjoys pushing his self-boundaries in various sports, including running, cycling, and swimming. He has completed over 40 marathons. Let me repeat that, 40 marathons, an ultra marathon, and is an Olympic super renowned who has completed multiple long distance cycling events. Before the event, I actually spoke to him. I asked him what would be his next challenge be. He said probably he will try the Ironman. But listen to him, see what he has to share. Eugene's speech title is Finding a New Harmony Via Cycling. Finding a New Harmony Via Cycling. Ang Eugene.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, and good evening. I would like to take this opportunity to share my cycling experience and particularly how I discover a new harmony via cycling. Just a brief introduction. I often considered myself as a self-trained weekend sports enthusiast who is active in running, cycling, and swimming. I began to pursue my passions in cycling just about 4 years ago. I couldn't agree more with a quote from my friend, Mr. Razi Jamaluddin, that every ride is a tiny holiday. Every ride is indeed a tiny holiday to get away from the hustle bustle of daily life, be it issues at work, at home, or the society at large. Every ride is a moment solely between you, the cyclist, your bicycle, and the road ahead of you. For a cyclist, the mindset and the body conditions are the most important element during each ride. Push your envelope and challenge yourself as much as you can, but learn to listen to your body. There are times where the mind would push further, faster, and stronger, right? But there are times where the body will tell you that I'm very tired. I can't go on anymore. I'm done for the day. Learn to balance and reach an equilibrium between the two, as this is equally important in every ride. Cycling is a green and environmentally means to travel and see the world. My wife and I would often explore various places around the country and overseas on bicycle, be it as a couple ride or with groups of friends. It is through cycling that we had the opportunity to explore and visit the places less traveled. An example of this is the city of Ghosts, where we had cycled through miles and miles of elaborate cemetery in central Vietnam. We experienced and learned to adapt to various conditions, such as cycling in sweltering heat. And recently, cycling in a 27 hours non-stop rain, and cycling through flash floods, sleeping in unconventional places such as monsoon rain, open field, bus stops, and we also learn to fix our own bicycle when there's any mechanical issues. Such experience that we would not be able to experience if not for our passions for long distance cycling. We celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary by joining the 1,000 kilometer rides organized by Audex Randonneur Malaysia, during which we helped to raise funds for various charity organizations around our neighborhood. To date, we had completed multiple long distance rides and accumulated consecutive Audex Super Randonneur title over the past 4 years. Speaking about community engagement, there are no lack of inspirational stories that I would personally came across. Uze Cycle is about a 14-year-old Uze who was diagnosed with autism at the age of 3 and his parents' initiative to raise awareness about autism through cycling. Uze made it to the Malaysian Book of Records as the youngest super randonneur at age of 12. Ride with Hope is another initiative by a fellow cyclist, engineer Lee Yi-seng, an avid cyclist himself and the president of the Malaysian Lysosomal Diseases Association. He raised awareness for rare diseases. I hope that my speech here would inspire you and encourage others to pick up cycling. So let's go cycling. Thank you for your time tonight.
Well, Eugene, before you turn off your audio and video, one question for you. Have you
Yes.
ever cycled to work?
Yes, I have done so, but yeah, due to it's in Kuala Lumpur, and I'll be sweating. Yeah, not very conducive when I reach work.
Well, now that KL has been experiencing a flood multiple times, do you think cycling will be a better option?
Yes, definitely. This is what I'm aiming to one day. Yeah, hope that we will have a very conducive cycling environment in the country.
All right, then probably you need to just think of the attire or extra attire if you are cycling to work, and then that will be another new harmony to achieve.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Eugene, for sharing. Wishing you all the best.
Thank
And
you.
if you ever join the Ironman, probably you would like to share your story again.
Sure.
See you. Okay, you may turn off your video and audio now. Okay, let's invite our next speaker. Our next speaker is Satya Abu Qasim. She has recently retired. Another generous lady who does not mind to share her age. You can expect that. She retired as the Chief Executive Officer of Ipoh Cargo Terminal. That's all. Her introduction. Probably you can hear more about her because she's going to talk about my achievement before and after retirement. My achievement before and after retirement. Satya Abu Qasim. You may start now.
Okay. Hello to everyone. I'm Puan Satya from Ipoh Perak. My topic for tonight is my achievement before and after my retirement. I started working after completed my MCE or Malaysian Cambridge examination in 1978 as a clerk with a company selling vehicles in Ipoh. I came from a moderate family of eight siblings. I'm the eldest, and life is very tough for us during that time. After that, I got another job as an insurance clerk to gain another knowledge in my life. But unluckily, after working for more than 7 years, I got BSS from the company due to drop in business. After getting this sad news, I never give up to look for another job. And I managed to get a job as a purchasing clerk in a wiring harness factory in Ipoh. Later, in the year of 1989, I accepted an offer as a shipping clerk with an international shipping company in Ipoh. I feel proud because I'm the pioneer staff for this Ipoh branch. From here, I started my journey for my future bright life. I know that I can do, and I started to gain knowledge as much as I can. From there, I was promoted to supervisor and finally to senior executive. I feel the joy and satisfaction working here for 14 years. My final job was with Ipoh Cargo Terminal, the only inland port in Malaysia in the year 2006. I was offered as a business development manager and later transferred to another department as an operations manager. I feel proud as I'm the first lady to be the operations manager in this organization. With my experience and strong support by board of directors, I was promoted as a CEO of the company. Thank God, I managed to administer this company for 8 years as a CEO. During my time there, I managed to bring changes in the company for business, teamwork among the staff, office environment, and many other things. For my contribution for economy to Perak State, I was awarded medal for AMP or Ahli Mahkota Perak from the Sultan of Perak in 2016, recommended by SUK of Perak. That was my achievement before my retirement at the age of 57 years old. After retirement, I started my own trading company since I have the experience in sales and marketing. Besides this, I have also other activities to fill up my pastime. I'm involved with the NGOs, meeting schoolmates and having my exercise with my Zumba team. Although I'm retired, I like to keep myself busy. From my experience, who had been working for more than 30 years, my advice to everyone, we must take all the opportunities in our life started from young. Do not fear to grab whatever challenges you got in hand. Have the integrity spirit in our soul, and God will help us to go through our life beautifully. Finally, thanks to Mr. Lee to give me an honor to speak for this world speech. Good night, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you, Satya. Wonderful sharing. I wish you all the best and always find harmony in life. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, right, you may turn off your video and audio, but please stay online. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next speaker. Also a very interesting character, Here is Steven Fernando. Steven is a soft skills trainer, an MC or master of ceremony, and also a comedian. He is not a politician, okay? He is a comedian, a real comedian. Right? He uses humor in presentation. He has won, he said a few actually, I knew is actually many championships in humor and speeches at regional level. Regional level means involve a lot of places and also country. He is going to share or talk about benefit of using humor in conversation and presentations. Benefit of using humor in conversation and presentation. Steven Fernando.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee. You can hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Because in my area it's raining very heavily, and then they got thunder and lightning. But I'm not very worried about lightning because with a head like this, the lightning comes and then it's reflected back. So thank you, Mr. Lee. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very honored to be talking to you today. My topic is using humor in conversation and presentation. For the last over 30 years, I've been focusing on this. I've used jokes, humor in presentations, and over the last few years, I've developed a module where you can also use in conversation. Why? Ladies and gentlemen, humor is very important in our daily life. Simply because if you're talking to somebody and you do not have much humor or fun lines or complimentary or say something funny, you'll find it's not easy to get the person's attention, whether it's an adult or children. That is why now many organizations, they want the executives to learn humor. Not a lot, but at least how to tell a few jokes when they're making presentations. And when you're talking to business people, in the course of business, if you have one or two jokes, people like you for that. People love humor. People like to laugh. A lot of stress. Not that difficult to learn humor. Let me share with you how you can get to use humor in presentations and conversation. Firstly, my dear friends, you start with collecting short jokes. Simple jokes, two-liner jokes. Two boys are fighting. One boy told the other boy, my father can beat up your father. The other boy said, so what? Every week my mother beats him up. Or this young boy goes and works in a KFC and he's every day asking customers, ordinary or spicy? Ordinary or spicy? Ordinary or spicy? One day he's going home and then suddenly a man comes up to him and says, give me all your money. So this young boy innocently asks, ordinary or spicy? You see, if you have simple jokes like this, and then when you're doing a presentation, you start off with the humor, usually connected with the topic, people will be more endearing towards you. Same thing if you're having a conversation and the conversation goes on for some time, you're able to share one or two jokes, people will like you. That's why fun makes conversation and presentations fun. You needn't be extraordinarily funny. So if you were to ask me how to go about being a humorist or being able to tell jokes, I'll tell you in this few minutes, very simple. Number one, you develop the habit of collecting simple jokes. Very simple jokes. But make sure, as we follow in Toastmasters, they do not touch on sex, politics, and religion. I sometimes do stand-up comedy, I tell jokes, I do not touch on this. Thanks to Toastmasters, the guideline was very good. Because in Kuala Lumpur, you have got this fun group or the humor group, and sometimes they talk very vulgar jokes. They may put down on politicians. So it's not good. But of course, we can once in a way touch a bit about politicians, but don't hit them. For example, now in Malaysia, every now and then they have change of government. So they had a new health minister. So this new health minister was visiting the hospital. And then the matron in charge said, Yang Berhormat Minister, I would like you to visit the labor ward. He said, no. Labor ward, you ask the labor minister to visit. Short, simple jokes. An elderly man goes to see a doctor and the young doctor says, uncle, you need an operation. The elderly man says, I've never gone for operation before. I'm so scared. The young man says, doctor, I've never done operation. Uncle, I've never done operation before. You first time, I first time. So don't worry, it's okay. Or a young lawyer goes before the judge and he says, Your Honor, can I have a postponement because I'm constipated? The judge looks at him and says, motion denied. So my dear friend, to collect these small jokes, and then whenever you can, you try it out among friends or when you're doing a function. One good way to improve on your humor is to volunteer to be MC. Like I know Mr. Lee is a very popular MC in Tawau and surrounding areas. Of course, because of his languages and the way he speaks, you can do it also. Volunteer to be an MC. Birthday party, company function, family function. They're looking for some MC, wedding. Oh, I can be the MC. Don't worry. Number one, it helps us, public speaking gives us confidence to speak in front of people. Number two, we try out simple jokes. Then the question arises, what if I tell a joke and people don't laugh? Very simple. You tell a joke, people don't laugh, pretend it's not a joke and continue. That's it. But there's another strategy which I use. If you tell a joke and people don't laugh, immediately you ask a question. For example, if you're talking about exercise, and then you make a simple joke about exercise, and you're talking about food, and then you make a joke, like I used to say, well, would you agree that Malaysians are light eaters? Would you agree that Malaysians are light eaters? Then they say no. I say, yes, Malaysians are light eaters. Whenever there is a light, they eat. Some people don't get the joke, so you don't worry. So how to overcome the fear? Immediately ask a question. Right. So can I ask, how many of you exercise regularly? A few hands will come up, a few hands no. So that diverts them from the original script where the joke was and they couldn't understand. Then we continue. Try it out, my dear friends. Humor, according to Miss Judith Walker, who is a trainer in public speaking in Australia, she says humor enhances the presentation, enhances the image of the speaker, and leaves an enduring impression with the audience. So now, before I go, I tell you a joke. You try to remember it, and then you share it with your friends, right? No response, don't worry. Just keep on trying. Now, this joke is very popular, very easy to understand, very humorous. Listen carefully. This is a joke. A young boy asked his mother, Mom, what's the difference between horrible and terrible? So the mother says, son, some time ago we were at the beach and then the waves took your father out to the sea. Oh, that was terrible. Then the boy asked, Mom, then what's horrible? What is horrible? When the waves brought your dad back. So there you are, my dear friends. Go ahead and try. Pick up some few jokes. Where can you get the humor? Well, you can get it from the internet. You can get it from those of you who are older. You know about Reader's Digest. Get these jokes. Number one, ensure they are short, not more than 4 lines. Number two, make sure you're aware of the punchline, the line that brings out the laughter. And 3, of course, avoid topics like sex, politics, religion. Then you can try it out with anyone. So don't worry. So now, before I go, I'll tell you another joke. Listen very carefully. Husband and wife go for a buffet. Then the wife keeps going and taking the food so many times. Go take so many times. Buffet dinner, so many times. The husband says, oh my God, I'm so shy. You go so many times. What would people think? She said, I don't worry. If they ask, I tell them it's for you. So there you are, my friends. Use jokes in humor and in presentations and conversation. Slowly but surely, you will improve. And most importantly, the quality of your presentations will improve and you will be known as a talented, gifted speaker simply because people are attracted towards your speaking style. Thanks for the audience. Back to you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Stephen. Please stay online because I have a question for you just to make sure or convince the audience that you are really master of your humor. Are you ready, Stephen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, before the question, thank you for the compliment. All right, Stephen, how did you come to or achieve this new harmony when your hair left you?
I think to be a humorist, first thing we got to learn to laugh at ourselves. So, for example, if you have no hair, then once in a way I do make fun of people who are balding, very good. Or if you are short, We should never allow our shortcomings, physical or otherwise, to affect our roles in life, whether it's as a speaker, as a trainer, as a salesman. We are all unique. So whatever so-called shortcomings in life, we can be very, one of the greatest comedians in the world, Hollywood, was an actor called Mickey Rooney. Some of you older people will remember. Short guy, but everyone made fun of him and he loved it and he became a very popular person. If you're a bit overweight, can make fun. Say, I'm a walking testament of Malaysian food, something like that.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your tips. I'm sure people who have listened to you have benefited a lot from you. Thank you so much. Please stay on. Stay online, but you may turn off your audio and video. That was interesting. I actually laughed, but I did not turn on my mic so as not to disturb Stephen when he was speaking. If he has been saying that collect jokes and so on, the easiest way to collect jokes will be you follow him on Facebook. He shares short two-liners or one-liner jokes, which you can always use and adopt in your conversation, presentation, and also your speeches. He doesn't charge a thing. In fact, if you, let's say he speaks at other places, he will be charged, but he do it for free for World Speech Day Malaysia 2022. Let's welcome our next speaker and also our last speaker for tonight. Our next speaker is Professor Patrick Xiao Chye. Patrick is a professor of culinary arts from Sunway University. He is also a chef. There are a lot of interesting things about him, which I think he will share. He's going to talk about unity through chocolate. Just before he starts, he wants me to show you a picture. Let's take a look. Take a good look at this picture. And okay. Unity with chocolate, Professor Patrick Xiao Chye.
Hi, good evening. Thank you, Mr. Lee. Today, I'm the last speaker and also would like to share something that what we do during our class time. Okay, as Mr. Lee said, I'm the chef and also I'm a lecturer as well in university. Okay, recently, okay, I just finished a class called culinary artistry. Okay, and every semester we need to choose a topic. Okay, what we need to do and what we represent. Okay, and from just now the picture you see, okay, basically the whole thing is done by chocolate, okay, and also color. So we start from the bottom part of the sculpture, okay. The sharp spike, okay, there's what we always represent that challenges that we face when it comes to unity, that's why the thing is sharp, and also it can be in words by people, so it can be a lot of obstacle along the way. So this is the things that we need to go through it, okay? And of course, we need to do it together, okay? Then above that, there is a few pieces of green leaf. Leaf here basically represent something that reborn, okay? After you get hurt, okay, by all those sharp spike, okay, by these words that people hurt you. But we always tell ourselves, always reborn, okay? That what will make you better, okay? Which is bring up yourself, okay, and walk again. So that's why the leaf is there. Above the leaf, there is a flowers, a huge flower. The flower here basically is like everyone loves to receive flowers because this represent love, okay, and also something that we always call it as a passion, okay, and this is always a driving force that for us to move forwards, okay. And the color we choose is red because it's about passion, okay, and love our life and love others as well. And you see above the flower, there is a abstract heart, okay, of a human figures, okay, and from the photo, you already can see very clear that there is actually 3 pieces of this cutout, okay, it's all done by chocolate. These 3 pieces of cutout is basically stick to each other, okay. The meaning of it is basically like you have my back, I have your back, okay. No matter what race you are, okay, how old we are, okay, what is our background like, you know. That's why the whole sculpture basis the ultimate goal. When we work together, we achieve the unity, okay. And just imagine, okay, my class basically have about a 24, okay, I mean spread out, okay. So every semester we emphasize again the unity, okay, and sometimes we talk about passions, or sometimes we talk about adopt the stray, you know, all these things, okay, we need to reinforce again, even though in UC levels, okay, to our students, to our young one, do not forget the value, okay, of ourselves, okay, and treat others equally, okay. And when we want to have a better world, okay, better environment, unity is one of the keywords that we need to do together, okay. So besides that, okay, chocolate is something that people like to consume, okay. And just share a little bit with you, okay. I myself as a pastry chef, okay, and beside I do pastry, I also do cooking as well. But what really make me feel great is when, okay, we share your food, okay, we share your story about your food with people, okay, that is the greatest happiness I always have, you know. For example, every gathering we share our story, you know, because food is bringing people together. When people gather, there's a lot of conversation, a lot of understanding, okay. That's how unity starts. There's no conflicts among people, okay. Just need to talk more, okay, and gather more. This is my point. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you, Patrick. Please stay on.
Yeah.
I'm just having a question because earlier on, Louis was talking about intermittent fasting. We are talking about chocolate, which all of us love. But how do you stay on so fit, despite all the good cooking, the pastry, and so on? Would you like to share that with us?
Basically, when I work, I don't eat because it's like basically is that when we create we put in the pastry as example, okay, like today I just produced a 400 small pastry for tomorrow event, you know. So when we create something, we try, you know, and when we try the things, okay, you feel it full because it's content of sugar, okay, and our mindset is continue to work to finish the task, you see. By the time you finish the task, along the way you consume some sugar, some starch with you. So basically how it make me feel full. Yeah, of course, when we stop working, which is weekend, there's a time that we really eat a lot. that is the issue. That's why it's better working.
Okay, thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
Now
Thank
may I invite all the speakers tonight to turn on your video. Everybody, please come online. Okay, everybody is on. Steven, don't tell me you're shy. Where is Steven? Okay, you are there. Okay, everybody is here. We are coming to the end of World Speech Day Malaysia 2022. First of all, I would like to thank all the speakers for taking out their precious time to be with us tonight. Not only that, they are sharing their valuable experience, views, suggestion, advice, tips, and so on for all of us here. Just for your information, we can't afford to pay the speakers. We can only say thank you. So if you are out there, leave a thank you note for all the speakers for their wonderful sharing tonight. And just a reminder, since this event has been streamed live on Facebook, the recording will be there. So anytime you want to watch again, or even for the speaker, if you miss watching yourself speaking, you can always watch that again. And a copy of that will also be made available on YouTube later on. Just search for World Speech Day Malaysia 2022. You may use that. And of course, you may also use the hashtag of World Speech Day Malaysia or World Speech Day Unexpected Voices, or even WSD 2022. That will link you to all the event on World Speech Day, not only in Malaysia, but also all around the world. If you were to share any pictures, videos of yourself, do use the hashtag, so you'll be linked all together. Let's have a group photo. Let's have a group photo. Everybody look at your own camera. Look at your own camera. Put on your best smile. I will take the photo and then I will share with all of you later on. Okay, make sure you smile. If you can't smile, just remember what Steven Fernando said. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. All right. Let me check first. Let me check first, because I don't want to have a photo taken with somebody closing his or her eyes. Okay. Everybody look great. Now, okay. Before we turn off the live streaming, maybe you want to say hi or whatever to the audience. You may start saying. Can I start with Patrick first? Now you're talking to the audience.
Again, yes, sorry.
You can say anything to the audience just before we turn off the live streaming
okay.
on Facebook.
No,
Okay.
the audience, is it live
Yes,
FB or what? Or here?
Yeah,
Or
they are all on FB. Then their audience are not on Zoom. They are all on FB, on Facebook.
Mr. Lee, I have to make a move, Mr. Lee.
Oh, you want to make a move?
Prepare
All
something
right.
for my wife.
Okay. Number one, with regards to Mr. Steven. Number two, you start first. I think Patrick is a bit shy, so just nice. Yeah, very good. Okay.
Hi,
Go ahead.
audience. Thank you very much for watching. Those of you who are watching, I see all the area of talented, beautiful, dynamic speakers. And remember, hair does make a difference. Good night, then.
Good night, and thank you, Steven. Okay, back to you, Patrick.
Hi, for those who with us, okay, thank you very much, okay, to give us this time to share our thought, okay, and also thank you, Mr. Lee, to give us this opportunity. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome. Ruth, turn on your audio, please. Ruth?
Join me on the zero waste journey, 5 hours.
All right. At least you don't throw your rubbish so often. That will be an achievement. She does it once a week. Okay. Dashwin.
I would just like to say hi to my my cousin sisters who are watching.
Wow, cousin sister. The cousin sister must be very special. Okay. Thank you, Dashwin. Eugene.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for the opportunity to give a speech today. And yeah, thank you everyone for the time. And yeah, and as well for the speakers. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, thank you, Eugene. Dr. Nur Izzati.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee, and all the viewers. Ingat ya, usaha tangga kejayaan. Okay, bye.
Kalau banyak pakai tangga pun boleh kuruskan badan ya.
Yeah,
silakan.
Sure.
Ken, Tony.
OK，谢谢大家今晚的观看。记得科技可以帮助我们简化我们的那一些日常生活的程序，以及可以改善我们的生活。谢谢。
Thank you, Ken. Lovey.
Hi, all the viewers, and thank you, Mr. Lee, and also the viewers for spending time with us. Don't forget to check out intermittent fasting, yeah?
All right. Thanks, Chloe. Sangeeta, I'm still smiling with your cat there.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lee, for giving me this golden opportunity to deliver my speech in the World Speech Day. And thank you to the listeners who are watching, to the audience who are watching. Just remember, whatever good or bad thing happened to us, it's not because of others, it's because of us. Okay, take care. Over to you.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Okay, Li Fei?
Thank you, everybody, for listening so far. And remember that you are the change. Dismantle, embrace, and change.
Thank you. Wishing you all the best, Li Fei. Satya.
Thank you, Mr. Lee, for this wonderful world speech. It's a very memories to me. Thank you, audience, watching us from my friends and my family. Thank you. Good night.
Okay. Now to the viewers there, we will stop our live streaming on Facebook. To our speaker, you may stay online so we can have a fellowship session. But if you wish to leave, it's fine. I will stop the live streaming. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for your support. Your presence, your viewing, even now or later, give a very meaningful support to all the speakers and also World Speech Day Malaysia. Keep on supporting World Speech Day Malaysia.